Hey guys, what is up and welcome to my channel. It's a Hardback Life. My name is Jordan, and today we're going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. You guys, can I just say first of all how crazy it is that we are in the month of June? I'm shook. That's already been 6 months into 2020. And might I just say, 2020 has been a year so far full of just craziness after craziness after craziness, both within the books and in reality. Yeah, that's probably gonna be an end of the month video that I'm gonna do in a few days. But yeah, so I'm gonna answer some questions from this book tag from my handy dandy notes that I wrote. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so as far as how many books I've read so far, I've read a total of 16, which I know is not a lot to a lot of people, but for me that is a lot because I don't read a lot when I'm really busy. And lately, this past several months, I've had a lot of time to read. And my goal actually is 30, so I'm halfway there. And I'm really proud of that. And speaking of that, I'm currently on my 17th book. And I'm currently reading The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett. I haven't gone very far, as you can tell. I'm only on page, 40... 42? And I'll fill you guys in later on the details, but I've only read 2 books in June so far. Just because of a lot of crazy stuff that's happened and such. But like I said, I'll fill you guys in a few days with another video I'm going to do. And my wrap up. Let's get into the questions. So, first question. Best book I've read so far in 2020? Well, that's a toss-up. I couldn't decide, so I'm gonna give you 2 choices. And they are, if I can find them, that is. Oh, yep. Shoot. First book, Chain of Gold, and the first book in the Last Hours trilogy, which is the sequel series to The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. This was one of my favorite books. This is one of my highly anticipated books that I waited for in 2020. And I'm so glad it finally came when it did back in March. It's so good. It's set in the Shadowhunter world. For those of you that know about Cassandra Clare, she's... the Shadowhunter world is full of people who are half human, half angel. And they fight demons and protect regular folk like me, called mundanes, which they call mundanes. Like, you know how Harry Potter calls non-magic people muggles? They call us mundane. So good, you should definitely read it. But read Infernal Devices first, so that way you're not lost. And the next book that I thought was fantastic, which is one of my favorite books so far of 2020, Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I thought that book was so fantastic. Actually, this is one of the books I finished this month. It's about a guy named Jason Desson who he's living a mundane life, pretty much. He's mundane, ordinary life. He's married, has a kid, and he's a physics professor But once upon a time, he wanted to be, he was a scientist, and he dreamed of his work like being recognized and winning the Pavia Prize, which I think is the equivalent of the Pulitzer Prize, and him being like a world-renowned like genius. Well, one night he gets kidnapped at gun and held at gunpoint, and his kidnapper takes him to like some abandoned warehouse and shoots him up with some crazy serum. And then next thing he knows, he wakes up and he escapes the lab, and he comes to find out that he's in a different reality where his wife that he was married to is not his wife in this reality. His son doesn't exist, and he's a world renowned genius who invented something really awesome. So, and the book just deals with like him figuring out how this all happened, why he's there, and how he's gonna get back to his life with his wife and his son. I gave it a 5 stars, and I also gave Chain of Gold 5 stars. So yeah, those were the 2 books that I've read so far in 2020 that I absolutely loved. Next question. Best sequel. I got it right here. Wild Card by Marie Lu. This is the sequel in the Warcross duology. Sorry, I had to think about that for a second. I actually talked about this in my books that I read so far video. And I absolutely love this duology in general, but this book expands on everything that happened in Warcross and goes on a deeper level. Things that we thought were like a for sure thing are completely flipped on its head in this book. So that's all I'll say. It's a fantastic conclusion to the duology, and you should pick up Warcross by Marie Lu. Such a fantastic series. New releases you haven't read yet, but you want to get to. That's an easy one. Library of Legends by Janie Chang. This is a historical fantasy about I forget the main character's name, but she and her fellow students have to flee China in the midst of a war that Japan has waged against China. And while they're trying to, run for their lives and flee their country, they also have to protect this mythical folklore called the Library of Legends. And they soon find out that these legends actually are going to come to life and cause some craziness. And there's other stuff that goes into it, but I obviously, like I said, I have not read it yet, so I don't know much about it, except what I just told you. So yeah, the Library of Legends. This was part of my Book of the Month selection in April. I can't wait to read it. And then next question: most highly anticipated book for the second half of the year. And that for me is Rhythm of War by Brandon Sanderson. That's the 4th book in the Stormlight Archives series by Brandon Sanderson. I hope to get to Way of Kings and the rest of Way of Kings, Words of Radiance, and Oathbringer before Rhythm of War comes out, because I want to have those books read by the time that book comes out. And I'm scared though, because all those books are about 1,000 pages or more. So I'm gonna have to really take my time and then push myself at the same time with those books. But I think I've got plenty of time because Rhythm of War doesn't come out till November of 2020. So I'm grateful that I have got several months to read these books. Next question. Biggest disappointment. I generally have loved every single book. There were disappointing moments, but if I were to pick a big disappointment, Artemis Fowl, Last Guardian, the conclusion to the Artemis Fowl series. All I'll say about it is the way it ended was not the way I would have wanted it to end. And I feel like the author, Owen Colfer, could have chosen a better conclusion instead of what he chose, but this is what we have. So I'm not saying that I didn't love it, because this is one of my most beloved book series that I have ever read. It's a middle grade, but it's a fantastic middle grade. I mean, they even finally made the movie, which was crap. The movie sucked, but we're not going to get into that, or else I'm going to go on a huge rant. But yeah, so Artemis Fowl and The Last Guardian. For me, the ending just wasn't satisfactory. And that's all I'll say about it. But still read it. You guys should still pick it up. This book series is 8 books long, and it's worth it. Surprise so far, and I'm gonna have to say biggest surprise will be from a book I've already read in the past, but I decided to reread it and the rest of the series throughout the next 4 months, or next couple months, and that is Twilight by Stephenie Meyer. Now, a lot of you were thinking, why? How is this surprising since you've read it? And there's so much about it all over the internet. It surprised me because, like I said, the second time I've read it, and I enjoyed it more the second time because there was a lot of things I missed the first time reading it. Like I said in my previous video, I think I said I was 18 when I read it, and now I'm 30. So, yeah, it's 12 years that I haven't read this book. But, there's, a lot of things I missed the first time I read it, like I said, and I actually enjoyed it more the second time because I understood some more deeper meanings that the book has. It's still very problematic. I'll say that for sure, but I enjoyed it more the second time, and it surprised me. The next one. Who is your newest favorite crush? I don't think I have a crush in books. Yeah, I don't really think about that. So, I don't think I have an answer for that question. It'll probably be something I'll probably share on another video if I really think about it long enough. But honestly, right now, I can't give an answer because, I don't really think about that when I'm reading a book. Question 8. Who is your newest favorite character? That is an easy peasy question. My newest favorite character is the character that's on this cover in Chain of Gold, Cordelia Carstairs. She is, and excuse my language, she is a badass. Just the way she cares about her friends and just how driven she is, and how amazing she is with Cortana. You thought Emma Carstairs was pretty awesome, but hello, Cordelia Carstairs is just as great, and we also have another awesome female character written by an amazing female author. So, Cordelia Carster is one of my favorite new characters. Next question we have. A book that made you cry. Well, I have two answers for that one. Books that made me cry. First one. I don't want to cry right now, just thinking about it. This Is Where It Ends. This is about a school shooting that takes place within 54 minutes. You guys, this book is so good. It's I think it's maybe a little slow going at first, like for maybe the first chapter or so, but it gets going and it never stops as soon as it gets going. It's an adrenaline rush, and also you just feel for these characters. You want them all to survive, and you just want them to make it through this, because yeah, and no one really ever talks about school shootings in books. So my hat's off to Marieke Niekamp. I still can't pronounce her name, but I read this book back in May and I absolutely loved it. I gave it 5 stars. And then the other book that I read, which made me cry, was It Looks Like This. Now I'm reading it this month. I read it this month, I should say, for Pride Month, because I also identify as gay. But this book, the ending, well, especially the last bit, so powerful. Now, I will say this book is very slow going, and the writing style is kind of hard to get used to, but it's definitely, once it really gets going, it gets good. So yeah, just keep that in mind if you pick this book up. It's called It Looks Like This. I definitely would recommend it. I gave this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars, but it's still worth it, I think. And hold on. Favorite new author that you like or were exposed to, or for the first time. I will say it again. Blake Crouch. Absolutely love him as an author now. And this was my first sci-fi thriller book, so I loved it so much that I just got, where is it? Behind me here. I got Recursion in the mail by Blake Crouch, so I'm really looking forward to reading another book by him. And then also there's the Wayward Pines trilogy, which I plan on reading in the future. So I'm really looking forward to that. Anyway, you guys, that was my mid-year book freakout tag. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I hope to see you guys later. Bye.